What's up, everyone? Welcome to Bluegrass State of Mind, the show where three college roommates talk life, sports, and all the ridiculous things that happen in an apartment we like to refer to as Room 302. We're bringing you stories, hot takes, and the kind of late-night debates that probably should have stayed in the group chat.
So grab your headphones, sit back, and get ready for a wild ride through our past college life, sports, and everything in between. Let's get into it. This is Bluegrass State of Mind.
What's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of Bluegrass State of Mind. Mason, our boy Bulldog, is back. Oh, and he's repping the ring, a married man. And he's got a new setup. Oh, and he's got the Stanley. Oh my goodness, what an upgrade!
Game changer, man.
Man,
There's life.
Got an office, got the Wildcat set up, Stanley Cup. Man, this man done went to where'd you go again?
The what?
Where did you go?
Cabo.
He went to Cabo and got rich real quick. Well, I'll tell you who also got rich real quick is Mr. Tyran Stokes, and who didn't get so much rich was the University of Kentucky, and that is what we're going to be really talking a lot about tonight, or this morning, whenever you listening to this. This is one episode that we kind of, we was going to record possibly another day, but we're like, hey, let's just go ahead and record it, get it out. It's fresh. So yeah, we're going to spend a lot of time on this whole Tyron Stokes and just Kentucky basketball in general. Got a couple of other topics we may get to. But yeah, as of today, Tuesday, April 28th, I guess it was sometime this morning, we all seen, was it Matt Norlander? Is that who it was? Who tweeted out saying that, breaking news, number one recruit, high school recruit, Tyron Stokes will finally make his decision. And it was essentially supposed to be at 3:30, but then that got changed to 6:30, and he made his decision on the Inside NBA on ESPN. Colton, me and Mason touched on it a little bit last week, so I'm going to start with you. Kind of, I guess, at this point, was it one of those things that, your attention was still there just because it was the number one recruit, and that we was still in the mix? And I asked that because, of how long this lingered around and how much we heard that this guy wants to go to Kansas. He has a Nike deal. The Nike thing might come into play. He loves Kansas. Kansas has always been his decision. But how did you feel about the whole situation with how it lingered around, went on? It was supposed to make a commitment a couple weeks ago, then decided, no, I'm not going to. Made a second visit to Kentucky. Like, there's a lot of drama, I feel like, around this whole thing. So knowing what we know now, what is your total, I guess, input on the situation with Mr. Tyron Stokes?
Yeah, I mean, it's unfortunate. I think the writing was on the wall. I think we all wanted to believe a little bit because the Nike deal. But at the same time, it was still hard to just fully commit because he pretty much was always saying it. Like, I would go to Kansas, like, if it wasn't for the Nike thing. And so essentially we knew that we were going to get a guy that was not even really wanting to be there. But the problem is that we put ourselves in a position where we needed the number one recruit. Like, we needed him because we don't have anyone else. And so that's why if you take some of these other schools who already had 2 or 3 5-stars on their team, well, imagine if we already had 2 5-stars before he signed, or say we had already got 2 top portal studs. Well, then we're sitting here like, hey, if he's going to continue doing this, let's just let him go somewhere and let's build our team around these guys. But we don't have any of those. So we're so reliant on needing to get these, right? I mean, and that's what sucks, is because he knew it. He knew that we were relying on him. And so he was just trolling. He was just sitting there, seeing what he could do, getting the media, building up his own brand, getting his name out there, whatever he was doing. But he had us in the palm of his hand because we couldn't do anything. He knew we needed him more than he needed us. And that's an unfortunate place to be because I hate the way that he drug it out. I mean, you saw these reports I sent you all that it looked like he had already signed his thing, like when he come to Kentucky for the
Yeah, we'll
visit
touch on
earlier
that
this month.
too. I do want to talk about
So,
that.
that type of guy, like, I don't really want that type of guy on your team, but at the same time, I don't want that personality on the team. But at the same time, when you're in the position we need the very best players, and he was one of them. So,
Yeah, I think you know, hindsight 2020, knowing what we know now, yes, like we might be able to say like we don't want him anyways, you know, but at the same time we did really want him, you know. However though, Mason, I do want to bring up uh you know, it's a weird dynamic about how I guess high school players go about things now because you know you take this kind of I guess the way he was acting and this kind of sought out drama years ago where all the trolling that Cohen's you know talking about him like putting the Kentucky game on the background, him joining and getting in the mix with some Kentucky fans, whether it be him posting something or interrupt shooting and at that time apparently had a deal already with like as much as like we want to say that yeah he's building his own brand, we don't want that kind of guy on our team. Would we have taken him in a heartbeat? Like, you know, like I mean, or is it the sense that it's just that's all just we ain't got him, so you know, like now it's time to unleash, you know, like we're all like we don't want him anyways. Like what do you think BBN's feeling right now?
Who knows with BBN? You know, there's a lot of folks out there who are mad right now. I don't know if y'all have seen. There's been a lot of stuff going around with this Quincy guy here lately. He's the one who interviewed Stokes on TikTok and talked to him on TikTok, and he had kind of been saying like, you know, I just have a good feeling about Stokes coming to Kentucky. He'd been saying it all along. You know, now you have fans who are sending him death threats, and he has got fired from his job already, and so like UK is crazy. Yes. Like Big Blue Nation. They're crazy, but it's because we love it. I mean, at this point, I don't everybody wanted him. You can't sit here and say now, oh, we didn't want him. Like, is it immature for the way he handled things? Absolutely. Like the kid's been attention seeking the whole time, and I have said that the whole time. But I didn't
Well,
care.
and
Like
before you move on though, I really want to talk about that, about the immaturity, because that really does get to me. Had he chosen Kentucky, I probably would have just like wouldn't even thought twice about it. But like the amount of I the immature, like you just I guess that's the best word to use. The amount of immaturity that some of this generation, it just I guess there's nothing should surprise us anymore. You know, because like I think of not and I'm not talking about our day. I'm talking about even older. Like you just pick a college, you go and you go play. Like the way that this whole thing was drawn out. Like, yes, is it building his brand? Absolutely. Is he getting paid probably more from sponsors? Absolutely. So good for him on that. But, you know, at the end of the day, it's still just a basketball game. You know, what are we doing?
Yeah.
Like we are really, really making this more than what it should be, or are we kind of
well,
not? You know?
yeah. Well, I mean, we've said it over and over. I feel like, but it's part of just where we're at right now as a program, right? Like we just needed something to kind of bring some life back into us right now. You know, make us feel good again, make us feel like we're back on top for a little bit. But you know, it's another recruit that Mark Pope hadn't been able to land, and like you said, Dylan, I don't. It's not going to change who he is on the basketball court, right? Like the kid can still hoop. He's a great basketball player, and I would love to have him. But I just think the way that he handled things, very immature. You know, just trying to get the attention. I did see something already since you know people have posted that about he was already signed. He's already commented on I don't know if y'all have seen OSN, but he would go TikTok live quite a bit with Quincy on TikTok and talk Kentucky stuff. And OSN I think posted a video and Tyron's already commented on it. It was about him, you know, being signed when he came to UK, and Tyron already commented on it. It was like I literally just signed 5 minutes ago. So is he telling the truth or is he just you know getting more clicks right now?
Yeah, and that's the thing. And I think that is honestly, you look at it, Mason, like that's a really good point. I think that no matter what Tyron Stokes does from this point on, he's kind of already set himself up for the future of like, are we going to are you telling the truth? Are you lying? We don't know because like you drug something out so long, you would get on and you would troll, you would kid with people and try to make it a joke. And like at this point, your word is really useless in a sense. And I'm not saying like his word is, but that's like some of what the perspective and like this buildup of what this whole controversy of this decision has kind of come out to be. And was it him pushing it? I would say he had a big part into it. I think he had most definitely a PR team or somebody in his ear saying, hey, put a UK game in the background of you getting a tattoo of Muhammad Ali when you are from Kentucky. Like, the kid at that age just doesn't come up with that, But Colton, let's shift gears to the basketball side of things. So at this point, whether you want to call it a whiff, whether you want to call it a respectable shot and miss, like at least we didn't lose him to Oregon. We did lose him to another Hall of Fame coach, Bill Self. So, like, it wasn't like we just lost him to some other Nike school. Like, I think that was the worst case scenario. However, though, he's not going to be a Wildcat next year. So now it kind of shifts gears. Okay, so as of right now, at the point guard position, we have Zoom Diallo. At the shooting guard, we have Alex Wilkins. Small forward, you have Cam Williams, Braden Hawthorne. And then at power forward, you have a new pickup, a new addition that we have not talked about since then. Mr. Y'all are going to tell me how with pronouncing this guy's name.
We need to do like we did Yelovich early on. AJ, we're going to just go
well, if we call him the Big O, I feel like Oscar. Like that's
What's his last name start with?
D-I-A or something.
The D-I-A. We'll call him O-N or no, I don't know what to call him.
We'll call him On.
On. I feel like it's Usame or Usne.
If it sticks, we got copyrights.
Okay.
On.
Okay. Well, we'll go with On, I guess. Colton with it. I feel like the big listener, like, what in the world? Y'all could have come up with a better, well, anyways, this guy On, Usme Nadaya, however you want to call it, is, he actually is an international player. He is a 6'11" big man who averaged 10.2 points and 6.7 rebounds a game. He shot the 3-point field goal percentage at 32% on 5 3-point attempts a game. And if you've not seen this guy's highlights, he does look really athletic. Like whenever, some people I'd seen on X were talking like, don't let this fool you. Yelovich looks very similar. And I agree to disagree with that statement. Yelovich did not look like that at all. Yelovich cannot move like that, in my opinion. However, though, a highlight reel is at their best. Like, it can be deceiving. So, we will see what occurs there. We'll get to him in a little bit. I just wanted to go ahead and throw that guy's name out. All right. So then also, we just now signed, right before Tyron Stokes' deal broke out, Justin McBride, who had been on campus previously last week, and we thought that we had that on wraps, but then nothing came from it. But now we got him. So, I think he averaged, what was it, 15 point... I had it wrote down.
15.3, I think.
15.3 points a game. He's a transfer from James Madison.
How big is he?
He is 6'7", 6'8". But the thing about it is he's a thicker 6'7", 6'8". And I'll talk to him a little bit and we can get into it. But moving on, at the center position, we have Malachi Marino and Reese Potter. So, Colton, without getting into our two new additions On and Justin McBride, what are we looking at for next season? I'll just straight up ask you this right now. Is this lineup currently better, not as good, close to equal as this year's team? What is your...
I mean, some of these guys are unknown, obviously, but I mean, I find it hard to believe that we have anyone currently on the team that's better than Otega Owe. I find it hard, really, to believe that. I feel like at best, Wilkins might be as good, somewhat, as Aberdeen, maybe. That's about your next, and you still have Moreno, but I don't know that I can trust Potter to even be as good as Brandon Garrison. Uh, I mean, and so then I don't know what the McBride. Maybe the McBride can bring more offense than what like Modi Abate did. And maybe the on is about like Yelovich. So I mean, I don't know. Like I definitely don't see it that technically better than the team we just had, which is not good because we definitely needed to be better this year. I mean, for Pope's sake, he needed to make sure that this team is better. And I know there's still a few pieces that can be grabbed. But right now, I mean, I just don't see the team that we currently have even being better than the team we just had. So that's very disappointing. But did we actually sign another guard, or did
Jerome
I just
Morton,
see things? Yeah.
he hasn't signed yet, but it's come out that
Oh.
he's committed.
Oh,
Yeah.
I think he averaged like 5 points a game.
He's a Kentucky kid, yeah.
He's a kid.
Yeah, we'll get, and hold on just a second before we get into.
Oh, you forgot about Mason Williams.
Well, but
Yeah.
Mason Williams, yeah.
It's-
Bo Williams didn't do his job apparently. Didn't get him fled to Atlanta or whatever he
What the heck's he doing in Atlanta? He went
I
to
know.
Braves
See,
game.
I
Hell,
want to
let's
get
not-
into all that.
Okay, well, hold on. Before we get into all that, we will. I promise.
Because I got a rant.
Okay, but I want to go ahead and say, and Mason, you can hop in whenever you want. Interrupt me whenever you feel the need to. But looking at Justin McBride, the guy that we just picked up right before Tyron Stokes, again, it's a highlight reel. It's a highlight reel because it's his highlights. It's where he's at best. But I will tell you this, when talking about Muhammad Diabate, he absolutely has a better offensive game than Muhammad Diabate. Like, you can just look at that as highlight reel. So that's good news. Number two is I really like his body frame. It is a thicker frame. It's not like the on frame. And when I say on, the guy who we picked up because we don't know how to pronounce his name, we got to figure that out. We can't keep saying on. And then also,
I like it.
Malachi Moreno. It is like, it's that thicker body. Kind of, I mean, honestly, I don't know how much he weighs, but, like, he looks about 240, 250. I mean, like, he's thicker than Diabate was, but can shoot it much better. Decent athlete. So I like that pickup. Like, we needed to fill that position with somebody thicker who can, get down low and not let anybody move them with these. Mason, talk to me about this on. Like, do you like this pickup? Do you think this was one of those things that it was kind of like, we don't have anybody else, we gotta go get this guy? There's some reports saying like it was a really, really great pickup. It's just one of those things that obviously nobody knew who this guy was until we picked him up, and like everybody's like, oh my goodness, look at this guy.
Yeah, I mean, I like the pickup. It just, one thing that kind of worries me is, looking at McBride and on. I just don't know that either one of them starting at the 4 is good enough for where we want to be. But as far as on goes, I mean, I think he has the potential. I think he fits in Pope's system. He's long, he's athletic, he moves well, he could stretch the floor. I know we signed him to a 2-year deal, and I do like what they did with his contract. I don't know if y'all saw that. But basically, there's a buyout clause in there. So if he doesn't stay for 2 years, I don't know the specifics, but there's some sort of buyout that will come into effect if he does not stay for the full 2 years. So I think this is a way of Pope looking at, hey, we can get a guy in here who has some potential, give him a year to develop at the college level, put on some muscle, develop his game, and then maybe that second year here, he can really have a breakout season. If he doesn't want to stay 2 years, we have this buyout clause, and wasn't that big of a deal. But I think he's a good pickup with some potential. Just worries me with his frame, how small he is too in SEC play with how physical it is. But I guess you kind of got a good combination there between, McBride and him. McBride being the thicker, stronger guy.
I think, Colton, looking at maybe in some years you can look at Kentucky's roster. I don't know that you could say this, but I'm just speaking out loud here. You maybe could be like, okay, this roster ain't that bad. But when you look at all these other rosters, your Louisville, your Tennessee, your Florida, your Duke,
Arkansas.
you see the way that college basketball landscape has shifted. And I totally agree that, they said that at one point college basketball may have not been the most elite that it could have been, just because you had some guys who were going to go in the draft early, B, could be even overseas making money. And at this point, college basketball is like, other than the NBA, like, it is where you want to be. And for most kids that are not like your all-stars right away or lottery picks, they want to stay in college so they can get as much money as they can possibly have, because they will make more in their years, however long it is at college, than they will probably in the NBA career, because it may not be long, because being in the NBA is just, it's that hard. It's really, there's just not many spots open for people. So, when looking at that, where do you see your Cats right now? Like, if you had, like, do you think that we are, by the end of this portal season, going to find ourselves outside the top 25?
Yeah,
Given that
100%.
but
No, we're not
I'm
going to be in
saying,
the top 20.
but given though that we have all this money left over, who we could possibly go get, we've not even mentioned of who we can go get.
There's like
Not
one,
that there's many.
like one or two guys.
Well, I know.
that you
I'm
can
just saying,
get.
not that there's that many, but even if we were to be able to go get the guy from Iowa State, is he going to be able to propel us into a top 25 position? And then we go and get another guy, like you said. Like, that's what I'm trying to get to. Like,
I mean, yeah, I think there's about maybe 2 to 3 guys left that you could get if you got 2 of them that might put you into the top 25. But I think that's it. I don't know that there's anyone else outside those 2 or 3 guys that that could put you back into the top 25. I will say this though. I don't know if it'll get to happen or not, but everyone saw the report that and we could talk about it a little bit, but how the 5-and-5 thing kind of got dismissed, at least until, like, they weren't going to account it for the ones who just graduated, essentially. Like, it's something to be revisited for someone else. But then everything I started seeing right after was that, like, this is going to be a lawsuit that they feel like the players will win, because it's literally just like disregarding them, but the wording in the thing would be for them. So, like, everyone was like, I'm confident, like, the players will do a lawsuit and they'll probably win it, because they've been winning all these other lawsuits. So, like, now let's imagine a world where Otega Owe actually comes back, and you add 1 or 2 guys that end up
Iowa State.
You add the guy from Iowa State, or you add just 1 or 2 others that ended up going to the draft, but now they withdraw their name and they're in the transfer portal. Then maybe you get to the top 25. But man, I don't say. And at this point, what makes me think that they're going to come
That's
here?
exactly what I was about to
Like,
say.
what?
At this
Like,
point,
what
even
makes?
makes me
I don't
think
care what
Pope
money
can
we
land them.
have. I mean, what makes me think that they're going to come here? I mean, so I don't know. I don't think we're going to be in the top 25 to start the season.
It's a sad day.
Yeah.
Well, we've not really, for the ones who are listening, they're probably like, okay, y'all not really got into what about Pope, and I've tried to stay away from it just a little bit, because I feel like we have the same feelings. We've talked about it, and we talked about it, and like it's just like, I don't know how much more I can even talk about it, because it is what it is at this point. But I'm going to allow us about 10 minutes here to vent. Mason, I know you said you've got stuff you want to say. You want to get it off your chest. So let's get into it.
Yeah.
Everything you want. where are we at with Pope? Where are we at with Mo Williams? This staff. Where is Kentucky basketball headed?
Mason, to fuel the fire, can we just acknowledge that now all three of the frat house names that got put up there did not come to Kentucky?
Yeah.
All three of them.
Yep.
Just go on.
None of them. I'm very, very frustrated right now, which I feel like a lot of UK fans are. But one thing that, like, I kind of get where Pope is.
Now
Pope and the
listen,
staff
hold
are going.
on, time out. If you're going to vent,
I
need a little bit more. I don't need I understand where Kentucky. If you're going to vent, you got to bring it to me. You got to give it to me. Like, don't give me
Will you let me talk?
I guess, but I just was expecting a lot more. Come on.
So I kind of get where Pope and staff are coming from as far as like trying to get Stokes. But my thing here is, if you have been hearing for months and months and months and months that, hey, he likes Kansas's staff better, and you keep upping the price, and it's still Kansas Lane. And then, the reports come out when you're talking about Caleb Holt. I don't know if y'all saw this, but apparently, like, Caleb Holt, it came out that he would have came to Kentucky if we were not all in on Stokes. So I think that's what keeps frustrating me so much with Stokes, is that he tries to focus too much on something and he can't get the job done. Like, how many guys have we seen him do this on? Like, you look at Freeman, right? Like, he's so focused on Freeman, everybody thinks we're going to get him. It's a done deal. We whiff. We have to go to plan B. Like, he always has to fall back on plan B at the last minute. It's like, and another thing that makes me mad, like today, I didn't think Stokes was coming here. I got on here and said, I feel like he's going to Kansas. Then today we get all this stuff coming out. Like, there's a tweet that comes out that says, basically, today's a big day, could change the landscape of how, Big Blue Nation is feeling, blah, blah, blah. Mark Pope likes to tweet. Then you have all this stuff that Mo Williams is going to Atlanta. Then you have Mo Williams reply to Tyron Stokes' tweet saying, let's go. And he still ends up at Kansas. Like, is the staff that naive and that dumb that they have thought all along that he was really coming here, and they still thought that today? Like, it really just drives me nuts. And where I'm at right now, I have zero faith in Mark Pope to be able to get a recruit at this point. Zero faith. Like Colton said, like, outside of the top 25, we're a bottom 5 team in the SEC right now. And I don't know if that's going to change. I really don't. Because at this point, he's pushed all his chips into one basket. He has left himself with very limited options. And he knew this was a make or break year. So it's like I said 2 or 3 episodes ago, like, Pope has to learn how to negotiate. Like, he is terrible at it, obviously. Because
that's where I disagree with you 100%.
No, he's letting these guys control everything.
No, hold on. Let me explain. Pope doesn't have to do this negotiation stuff. Get a GM. Like, let them be the ones who negotiate.
But is it Pope who's resistant against that? Because some stuff I've read is that Pope's resistant against it.
At this point, I don't know. I feel like nobody... Colton, this is what me and Mason also talked about last episode a little bit. I feel like in all my years of being a Kentucky fan that I can acknowledge and remember reading stuff, hearing from my coach, understanding where the program is at. I feel like the past 2 years, I know nothing. It's all speculation. It's all just people trying to make stuff up and kind of just talk themselves into what Pope is thinking or what's going on in UK athletics, because we never hear from Mark Pope. Never. And the prime example that me and Mason talked about was, take Will Stein, for example. I know he's new. I know he hasn't played a single Saturday, but he's been on KSR 2 times already. At least talking about updates and stuff. And obviously it's all sunshine and rainbows right now, whereas in the state of the basketball program, it's not. But we've not heard from him since, was it his coach's show that we talked about, So where are you at?
Besides
what are you doing?
cryptic tweet about clear skies. Looks like there was a lot of turbulence, Mark. And I don't know if you're going to land safely. This is pathetic.
Yeah, I mean, and so I'm a little, I guess not vent, but I'm just going to talk a little bit and then I'll hand it over to you, Colton, is that, so it is what it is, my positivity, I said that I'm going to try to stay positive. I am not optimistic because I do not think that we are looking at names on paper, that we have a good roster. So I'm not optimistic. I'm not hopeful. I'm just going to be trying to stay positive until proven otherwise of where we're at with this team. Watch them play next year. And I said, that I was like, it's not over yet. We could still get Stokes. So check that off the box. We cannot get Stokes. I will say, though, I'm trying to stay positive. It's still not over yet. We still could maybe get the guy from Iowa State. I don't know, but there's nothing for me to believe at this point, like you already mentioned, that we can and we will. And back to my closing for this, Mason, back to your point on was our coaching staff that naive to think that they could still get them? And I'm going to say yes, I do. I think that this coaching staff, they did believe that they could get Tyron Stokes. I truly believe that. Or else, I cannot get myself to think that why would you put yourself in this position if you didn't think you had a chance? Now, what was it that he said to make this coaching staff think that? I don't know. What was it that his actions towards them and his visits to make this coaching staff? I don't know. But again, it's back to my point. Nobody knows anything. So it's just like up to the coaching staff and then all of Kentucky just being running like a chicken with his head cut off, trying to figure out what's going on, because we don't know. And that's where I'm at with this coaching staff. But yeah, I mean, yeah. Oh, and one more thing, Colton, so whenever Mason was talking about that, Mark Pope knew this was his last, he had to go prove something. The sad thing about this is he's been trying. It's not like Pope's not trying. And if that doesn't hit you in the gut and just be like, maybe Mark Pope's just not the guy.
He's not.
I know. I believe that. I'm just saying, for those who still haven't, it's not like he's not tried to go get the number one player in the world. It's not like he's not brought good guys on visits. He's done it all. It's just we can't get them. Colton,
we're
this
the
is music
laughing
to your
stock
ears.
of college basketball right now.
Yeah,
and I'm not saying it in a I'm not meaning it's music to your ears, we're the state of Kentucky, but you know what I mean. But go ahead, share your thoughts on this whole situation, and you ain't got to say we all like Pope. We all know that, but where you at? I mean, come on.
Hey, look, I tried to say it. I mean, when we hired, the grass isn't always greener. It just wasn't. And maybe we were underachieving with what we had, but I can promise that every roster that we had going into the season for the majority of 15 years, we at least had a thought. We weren't having these type of conversations the last 15 years. And it was hopeful. Right now, even though if we could have got beat in the round of 32 like we just did with a Cal team, but right now we'd be sitting there thinking, man, look at this roster we've got coming in. Look at this next year. I really think you get one, two. Let's roll. No, we're not doing that now. And you knew, people, I kept having to hear about how it was more Kentucky than it was Cal. People were, even no matter who we got in here, they're going to come to Kentucky. Kentucky's always going to get guys because it's Kentucky. And knowing that those days have changed, right? Where this is no longer the 90s. This is no longer you had the fan base that wanted these 2-3 year players and guys to stick around and develop and stuff. This ain't the 90s. You don't have that anymore, right? If they're either good enough to go to the NBA or they're not good enough to play, so they enter the transfer portal. Those days are done. So but listen, at the end of the day, like Mason said about the GM, I agree. I do think we need a GM, but I don't care if you have the right coach here, they're coming. They're coming. It doesn't matter if the coach does need to be involved in it, because if the coach isn't involved in it, then the player is not really there for the school. Like, he's strictly there for money. I want a player there that looks at that coach and say, he can change my game. I'm coming to play for that man right there, not because of the check I'm getting, but because I'm going to play for the university, and that guy and the check I get is going to be the bonus while I'm here. And we don't have that guy. Pope is not that guy. Like, there's no one coming in here looking at that, saying I want to, like, he's going to change my game completely. I don't feel like anyone's. I think the only pitch he has is like this heartfelt, soft,
Beautiful.
like you want it to be
That clip.
the glory days and the tradition and stuff like that.
Move your mic closer.
That's amazing. That's amazing for the tradition stuff. That's all good. But at the same time, these kids these days, they don't know about Kentucky in the 90s. Heck, we're getting close to the time that the next freshman class that comes in was going to be born the year we won it in 2012 at Anthony Davis. Like, that's how old we're getting, right? Like, they're not even going to remember our last championship, the next freshman class that comes in almost. Right, there's been almost 7. That'll be 15, 7. It'll be. I mean, it's pushing it. Like, it's the next couple of years. It's about to be the 17, 18-year-old. Like, it's getting there. So they're not even going to remember a Kentucky championship ever. So I don't know. I have so many thoughts. And the truth is, I was actually trying to go to the other way. Like, I really actually kind of want to be all in on this team and all in on Pope this year, because I mean, he's what we have, and to me, it's either he has a chance to prove himself and make a run and put together a roster and we succeed, or he doesn't and we're looking for the next guy that but now he's just making it hard, because I've got season tickets and I'm sitting here in my mind thinking, who right now, like, how I won't get rid of him. I really don't. Like, I mean, who's going to want to go to some of these games? Like, they're just going to sell for so cheap unless he can find a way to put together a roster that turns it around. And I hope he proves every one of us wrong. I hope I hope some of these kids end up being studs and he finds a few other guys. I mean, everyone hopes that, and I would gladly be like, I was wrong. Like, they're good, and he's done a great job with this group. But man, it's just hard to have a lot of faith in that happening.
Well, and I think it's it's not at this point. It's like, why not? Like you said, you want to be all in, but like at this point, it's like, okay, Mark Pope knows his fate. He knows what it's going to come down to. He knows that he is in the hot seat. He has to do something special this year. But then this is where I'm kind of questioning, like, okay, even if he does something special, fellas, is it enough to keep him around, knowing that, like, he's not getting the recruit? Like, so, like, and we don't have to talk about that, but I've had that thought. I'm like, okay, let's say that he does go out and get like a 26-win season this year with like 8 losses and gets to like a Sweet 16. Makes it like then it's like, okay, like, that's a pretty good season, but is it good enough? Like,
I mean, if you have a number 2 recruiting class coming in next year, yeah, that's fine.
No, well, that's what I'm getting to. Like, he's not proven that. No, he's not proven that he can get these recruits.
We are the laughing stock of college basketball right now. Like, nobody wants to come here right now.
It's so funny listening to Mason right now, Colton.
Something has to change. And listen, I know I kind of contradicted myself, because I was like, go all in on Tyron Stokes, and now I'm like, well, you had to have a clue. You have to do whatever it takes. Like, it came out that apparently we offered pretty much the same money that Kansas did. No. If you have all your chips in one basket for Tyron Stokes, you up it by whatever it takes. Offer him another $2 million, because all this kid's about is attention and money, is what it seems to me. You cannot lose this if that was your whole philosophy all along, was, okay, we're getting Tyron Stokes. No, you go back to the table. If he tells you 30 minutes before he commits, I'm going to Kansas, we'll give you another $2 million, bud. You want to come to Kentucky?
Well, we indeed did lose him. So, which leads me to my next question for y'all, kind of getting off the solely Kentucky stuff. But I mean, it can correlate into that still. Do y'all think college basketball is like broken right now? Like, seriously. Like, I mean, do you think it is in a state of being broke? Whether it be the NIL, the transfer portal, the one and done, what we could potentially see a 5-1, the whole lawsuit that Colton brought up. Or do you think that it's actually in a better state than where it's at right now, or where it has been before? And I'm gonna start off, and I'm gonna do maybe a little bit of a, I don't know if it's a hot take. I think it probably just depends on what generation you grew up in. I'm gonna say, as far as marketing and, taking out Kentucky fandom, as far as the brand, like college basketball, I'm going to say it's better. Absolutely. I don't know how you could even argue that it is worse. I mean, I could hear some arguments other than the fact of, well, back in my day, we would have just played for the front of the jersey. Like, I mean, if that's kind of argument you want to have. But as far as the best players all going to being in college basketball instead of playing overseas, I don't know if y'all seen that stat today. I think it was only like, I wish I knew the exact number.
71.
71. Yep. It was 71 players put in for the NBA draft. That is the lowest it has been since, what was it, Colton? 2009?
2000
or 12?
2002 or something like that.
Okay, maybe an even. So, like, if that doesn't tell you that, like, if you're wanting to see some guys stay and, like, back to your days, like playing all 4 years, like, it's kind of coming full circle there. Like, now, are they coming back for the reason to get better? No, they're coming back for the money. But hey, you still get to see your favorite players. You still get to build that chemistry with that team and get to know this player. But also, I think that you're getting the best of the best to play in college basketball, while also getting other teams that are competitive. Like, had you take NIL out, then yes, Kentucky would still be at Kentucky, and I don't think that now we still can be. A lot of it is our coaching right now, but you wouldn't have to go into the money landscape of things. But now, because of this NIL, I mean, you take Indiana football, that's a prime example. I think it's a perfect example of, like, anybody can be successful now in today's game, because there's just money, and there's money to go around for players, But Colton, do you think it's broken?
I think the transfer portal is broken. The NIL really don't bother me that much. I think the NIL gives some of these mid-major, or the not mid-major, but middle of the pack Power 4 schools a chance to get better by bringing in guys from maybe mid-majors, or guys that were, like, in Indiana's instance in football. What made Alabama and all them so dominant for so long was that their backups and their backups were 5 stars, right?
Yeah.
Well, those guys aren't waiting around anymore, right? They're going to these schools to be starters. So now your Indiana is getting a backup of 5-star because he didn't want to wait around at Alabama. Well, so I do think it's been great for that. The problem is, I do think the transfer portal is broken. Like, I don't believe in a kid being able to play 4 years at 4 different schools, and it wasn't because of a coaching change, or it wasn't because of, they had a family member sick. That they used to have to sit out a year, and the only way that you didn't have to sit out a year was if you got approval because you wanted to move closer to a family member that was sick or something in that instance, or it was like, you had an injury or something in that instance. But there's no way, like, even if you just made it 2 years, that's it. To me, I think that would be huge. That you had wherever you chose, you had to at least stay there 2 years. And I mean, that would, because it's like a free agent market. I'm all for the paying. That's fine. Like, give a kid how much ever he wants when he transfers the first time. But you know how big difference it would make to have these guys on 2-year deals? I mean, we just paid JQ $3 million to play 6 games.
Yeah, I mean, that's ridiculous. I mean,
So, like,
but then that's where you get into writing up some contracts. Mason, I didn't know that about this guy that you mentioned about his contract. Like, love that. I love it. Like, put something in the contract that says, if you don't do this, there will be there will be something that occurs. Like, I mean, it's a rule, you know, like if you break this rule, then yes, you will get something that goes against you, or you're not going to get as much, whatever it is, you know. Probably not the best language there, but y'all understood what I was saying. But Mason, same question to you, but I also want to kind of, I guess, have you look at it from a different perspective. Loyalty. Let's just use that word.
Well,
does loyalty even exist in sports in general now? I guess more so though college.
Yeah.
Like
maybe Mark Hubbard.
Right. Josh Hubbard.
Josh Hubbard.
Yeah.
Hubbard.
Yeah, no joke.
Yeah.
Because, he definitely could have got a bag. But that's kind of where I was going to go, Dylan, to be honest with you. To me, I do think it's broken, and I understand that, like, you're getting some of these players to stay in college longer, more competitive. Other schools are being able to compete now, but some changes have to be made, because to me, it's almost turned to like Major League Baseball, right? Like the Dodgers have the most money, right? So they're going to go out there and just buy everybody. That's kind of what it's turned into right now with NIL, right? Like if you have a lot of money, you're going to be able to land some of these top guys. And to me, like I think back to the Tyron Stokes situation. I think back to the Donnie Freeman. Like you're just going to see this happen more and more going forward, right? Like you're going to see guys go to a school and, they may offer so much, and then they start reaching out to these other schools like, hey, they offer me this, can you beat that? So it's really at this point right now just turned into professional kind of sports for me. And I've always liked college sports because of, like you said, like the tradition, the loyalty, like it's your home state. It's Kentucky, right? Like I understand that players may not play for that anymore, and that's fine, but it just feels like this transfer portal and all of this money that is getting thrown out there to these recruits has just taken a lot away from what college sports used to be.
Yeah. No, that's a good point. And I guess let me rephrase my I guess hearing that, I guess put in perspective, maybe I not jump the gun, but I want to make sure clarify. I think that the competitive landscape of the players and the teams is in a better state than it's been. Not the industry, I guess. Does that make sense? Is that like
Yeah.
I agree with you on like that the industry is broken. And also to Colton's point that, the transfer portal is broken. But as far as the actual competitiveness landscape of seeing all these guys who are, whether they are freshmen or fifth year seniors, like they've got, it's very, very competitive,
Yeah. And I think, like Colton said, like if you go back and just limit a transfer to maybe it's you only get one transfer, right? It's going to cause some of these guys to actually think, all right, like before they want to enter the transfer portal 1 year and go to a Boston college, and then the next year they want to go to Miami, Florida, and then the year after that, okay, they might end up at Kentucky or Kansas. Like I think that would fix some of it and bring some of like what I was talking about, just the feeling of college sports back, right?
Well, and we're also in a weird place too, because like, I mean, honestly, since the NIL era, we've had no success really. So like we're coming out from maybe a perspective of a Kentucky fan trying to not be biased, but maybe playing a little bias into it. But like, when you was talking about like playing for your state, I'm not convinced that most Kentucky kids still want that. Like we do. Like growing up, like I feel like most Kentucky kids growing up in Kentucky now, as they get older and that money starts to appear in front of their face before they even know what real money looks like, like then I think that's where things start to shift. I do. But growing up, like right now, Hayes, my 3-year-old, like he likes Kentucky. Now, let's say that Hayes becomes in 10 years, he starts getting a bigger profile, like he gets like all the like really loud and really good. And all of a sudden now people are saying like, hey, here's some money that could be thrown your way. And now in 15 years, now that's where it kind of starts to shift. I feel like I could be totally wrong about that, but I think growing up in Kentucky, most Kentucky kids understand that Kentucky background the history behind it. But maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it's not like that at all. I mean, do y'all think that that's wrong? In Kentucky, not
No,
worldwide. In Kentucky.
I think a lot of, obviously, the kids are still like they're totally invested in Kentucky basketball before, and they're not really thinking money. But then, yeah, I agree. You get to a certain age where the reason I said like why I always loved Cal so much is because I do remember the end part of Tubby's years, and I remember as far back as like Tayshaun Prince. That's really pretty much my first early. But if you want to talk about when I fully understood the aspects of all like Kentucky, it was about Cal's time. I was about 11 or 12, right? And I started understanding recruiting. I understood understanding like the guys we were chasing after. I started understanding all these different aspects. And so now in today's time, when you understand the transfer portal and the money behind the NIL, well, now how much of this, like we talk about it, like that's what we talk about more. How often do we talk about the tradition, right, of UK basketball and those old championships and those what the old teams used to be like and what we used to see here, right? Every one of our conversations about these recruits are, hey, what's their NIL package? What's their, are they going to transfer? Where are they coming from? What school were they at? Were they at the old school? Like, I mean, that it's just completely different the way you view it now. And, the kids that are growing up now, one like us, where we just kind of, recruiting was maybe the first thing we tried to understand when we got a little older. Now you're growing up in a world where all you're hearing is NIL and transfer portal, and no one's talking about the 96 championship or the 98 championship and 2012 championship. No one's talking about those type of moments anymore. It's talking about NIL, and it's kind of unfortunate to see.
So let me ask you this then, guys. When it comes to, I guess, programs being great, what is it now that makes programs great? Is it the history? Is it the fans? Is it the success? Is it the coach? Is it the system? Like, in your opinion, because, I think that some of those factors are eliminated now. I mean, or maybe not eliminated completely, but just is not as big of a role as it once was, if that makes sense. Mason, where are you at with that? Like, in your opinion, not, well, let me rephrase that as well. Not your opinion, but in today's time, recruits, what do you think is going on in their head about what makes this program great and successful? Why I want to be there? Like, what is it the driving factor?
Money and coach. Has nothing to do with history, tradition, any of that anymore.
Okay, so then would you say that that's what I was kind of thinking. Would you say that history and tradition is completely eliminated, or just not a factor like it used to be?
No, I mean, you're still going to have some guys who understand that.
Well, Tyron Stokes don't, because he don't understand rock chalk and he don't understand BBN. So
yeah, like I said, number one thing, money and coach. But I'm sitting here just thinking through some of the coaches, like Cal. He obviously has his reputation with putting guys to the league, right? So that's why he's still getting recruits. He also has some money down there at Arkansas. Look at Todd Golden. He hasn't really gotten any recruits, but he's been able to retain some guys, right? He's kind of put Florida back on the map because of the way that he coaches and because of the relationship that he has with his players. You look at some of these other successful coaches, Dan Hurley. Yeah, Dan Hurley. Even Dusty May's starting to come along now. Like Michigan, we know Michigan has the money. Like football's probably been the bigger thing there, but I mean, it seems like they're starting to pick up on basketball, and Dusty May's running a good program. So I think in my eyes, that's what players look at nowadays. They like, everybody's talking about, Tyran Stokes shooting in Rupp Arena with that video playing in the background, of all the memories of Kentucky history. He could care less about what's up there on the Jumbotron in Rupp Arena. I promise you that. And that's probably 99% of recruits nowadays, right? They want to go to the program that, one, is going to give them the most, if not close to the most money, and two, a trusted coach who's going to push them and help them get better. And right now, we only have one of those.
The money?
Yes.
It's not the coach.
Yes. And we have a lot sitting out there right now.
We do have a lot of money. A lot of moolah to give out. Coach, so I guess, that just looking at that then on what makes a great program, I feel like when players come to Kentucky, is it right away just a turnoff then with Mark Pope being at the forefront of that? Because, like Mason makes a good point. We do have money. We do have the money. So then again, I guess we're circling back to this. Like, is that why we are continuing to see these recruits failure? Because obviously, you've said it, that KSR has said it, and I agree with you 100%. Like, let's not get these guys that are about it on the front of their jersey. Get the guys and then teach them about that. Like, they will be invested in that. They will, like, and once they come to Kentucky and receive the holy list of the holes of Kentucky BBN fan base, like, then we can teach them about it. But at that point, like, what do we got to sell here? Like, it blows my mind still. I could go on and on. I've tried not to talk a lot about it just because I feel like we have, but here we are again. So it's mind boggling.
To me, it's a respect thing, and I don't think that these guys respect Pope. I really don't. I think when you look at the Dusty Mays and the Dan Hurleys and the Goldens and the Caliparis and Selfs and Tom Izzo, right? I don't think they've had a single guy enter the portal. Michigan State, like they've retained. It's a respect thing, right? One, they know that they've done it. They know they had to get tradition of getting all these guys. They've been successful for a long time, but they have both those factors, right? Where Calipari, you see him get he's hard nosed on these guys, right? The moment that they make a mistake, he jerks them out, whether or not they're making $3 million or not. But you also turn around and see he's the first person to defend them in the press conference, right? He's like, "Hey, yell at me!" Like he's that type of guy, and that's what they want to play for. Like they respect him because he's going to chew them, but he's also going to love them more than what he does. That, and I think all those coaches are like that, and I don't know that any of them look at Mark Pope and sit there and say, with all this money, and be like he's not the guy.
Mason, one thing I do want to, like, I think that is true. I do. But one thing, you hear about today's generation is, well, they don't want to be coached hard. They don't want to be. And I kind of have to disagree with that, because every great player that you see goes to great coaches. They go to the Rick Pitino, who coaches hard. They go to the Dan Hurley, who coaches hard. They go to the Todd Golden, who you said you just love. Like, they all coach hard. So whenever you hear some of these people who might say, like, oh, they just don't want to get, they don't want to be coached hard, they don't want to do that. Like, no, I totally disagree with that, because your great players who are great players go to great coaches, and great coaches coach hard, and that's what you're seeing at the best of the best at the college level. Like, maybe you might find some at maybe Little League and maybe high school, but I'm talking about elite of the elites in college. They're going to these great coaches. So, like, do you think that argument kind of is non-existent? We need to be wrapping it up here in about 5 minutes, but, like, where are you at with that? I feel like that is completely false and just not right.
No, I agree completely. Like, if a guy's not willing to take coaching and get better, then he's not going to get to that point to be one of the better players. You know what I'm saying? Like, obviously along the way, he had somebody who pushed him and told him whenever he made mistakes so that he could grow and get better. So, I agree completely. And that's a lot of having that mindset for, they're coming here, all these top guys, they're coming here to get better, to go to the NBA. You mentioned earlier, Dylan, like, there's a limited number of spots in the NBA. And you think about, over the course of 6 to 10 years, let's just say, I don't know what the average NBA length is, but, like, all these guys that come out of college each year going into the NBA, like, it's tough. It's tough to get to the NBA and stay in the NBA and make it in the NBA. So if you're wanting to get to that level, you almost have to have that mindset. And I think we're really seeing that right now.
Yeah, we are. Well, I got one quick fact for you all, fun fact for you all. I watched this little clip the other day and I shared it with Claire and I'm like, oh, I'm gonna share it with you all. When talking about million and billion, it was pretty much saying that, how our perspective on things is completely off. Like, we don't understand the gap between a million and a billion. We kind of just think that they go together. And what it does is it put it in perspective for you. And I don't know why I thought of it, but I just wanted to talk to you all about it as we close here. I guess because we was talking about all these recruits making millions of dollars. So when looking at million versus billion, Colton, 1 million seconds. How long do you think 1 million seconds is?
1 million seconds.
1 million seconds.
6 months. I don't
That's
know.
my guess.
11.6 days.
Really?
So 1 million seconds is 11.6 days. Mason, how long do you think a billion seconds is?
I mean, since your intro here, I'm going to think it's a crazy difference. So I'm going to say 5 years.
31.7 years.
Yeah, that's crazy.
11 days.
If
to
that doesn't
31
put
years.
if that doesn't put it in perspective, I don't know. I just thought that was really cool because I never thought, like, I'll agree. I was one of those guys that's like, oh, million, billion, same old, same old. But whenever you hear it like that, 1 million seconds is 11.6 days. A billion seconds is 31.7 years. So when you're hearing about these billionaires compared to these millionaires, there's a big old gap.
Man.
So, hey.
Not gonna know either.
Yeah. Never get to experience either one.
Hey, you never know. We might go viral. Come on, guys.
Yeah.
If you're
Come
listening
on,
out
guys,
there,
help us with color green. We'll give back.
We'll take
We'll give
millionaire. We don't
Yeah.
want
We'll give
billionaire. We'll take millionaire.
yeah, we won't be that. Yeah. Well, hey, we appreciate y'all for tuning in. We might get you another episode out this week. This is going to be dropped on Wednesday after the Stokes news. So, we appreciate you all as always. Tune in to our socials on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, and on YouTube, Spotify, and Apple Podcasts. And as always, go Cats.
Go Cats.
Go Cats.
As bleak as it is, go Cats.
That's a wrap for this episode of Bluegrass State of Mind. If you enjoyed the show, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe so you never miss an episode. Also, be on the lookout for our social media pages and be sure to follow them. We've got plenty more stories, insights, and conversations coming your way. And if you really loved it, make sure to share it with a friend. From the hills to the hollers, thanks for tuning in. Until next time, keep that Kentucky spirit strong.